So here we are with a tremendous last minute adjustment because we had an emergency come on up for Brian Hananoff, so we'll have him back on. But Vivian, what's present for you and how are you?
Oh my God, I'm ready to have an amazing day here. We have Mr. Orange in the house. We have so much orange flavor going on today.
Yeah, so Mr. Orange, what's happening? Like, let's give our introductions.
So, well, Frank, and he's a serial entrepreneur for 50 years. We started at the age of 8, which makes me think he's Benjamin Buttons. He started, created, and sold several multinational companies that produced hundreds of millions of dollars, worked with startups and Fortune 50 companies around the globe. Recognized by top marketing firms as one of the top CEOs in his field, Frank has combined his unique methods of management and sales, along with programs from Dale Carnegie, Wilson Counselor, and Sandler Sales to produce accomplished sales and marketing teams. And he's a strong student of personal development and NLP for the past 25 years.
Yeah. Mr. Orange, Frank Clark, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, Sean? How you doing, man?
Frank,
Vivian, what a great intro.
Yeah,
thanks.
Frank, I gotta tell you this. Listen, I had seen you, heard of you. People said really nice things about you. I had no idea that you had the credentials, the background, the success you had up until the last little bit. So stop hiding, brother. No, like it was okay, you're hiding in the world, but somehow I missed that. So I'll take that. Like you're like truly amazing. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sean. I appreciate that. You know, I've been in the electronic space for a long time and really just kind of emerging on the coaching side of things. So I've been doing it forever, but that's really where most people know me now. So all the electronic stuff and all the other companies has just been kind of in the back burner.
Extraordinary. Well, thank you, Frank. Awesome.
Thanks.
So yes, and Vivian, we have a beautiful last minute alteration and the one and only John Spring. John, how are you, sir?
Very good. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, I'll handle the intro. So John is a tremendous expert in the space of financial services. He is partners with the one and only Mr. Ambassador of Results, AKA formerly known as Big Sugar, Rob Gill. So John and Rob are doing incredible things in the world. I've had the privilege of having John on stages with me, been on stages out in Utah. So John speaks on a national level. He speaks on to healthcare providers and all these folks in service of their financial future and stability. So John, how are you?
Very good. Very good. Hanging in there.
Yeah. And what is present for you other than the fact that you were moved from a judge slot into participant slot? So how are you feeling genuinely right now?
You know what? Genuinely, I'm feeling on the hot seat. I like it. I feel a little bit, my vibrations moved up a couple of notches since I said, you know, I'd rather stay a judge. And Sean goes, John would be perfect.
Well, John, is that anything new in our interaction?
No,
bro?
I fully expected it, actually. I thought for a second, I go, there's no way he's not letting me do this.
All right. Outstanding.
No, it's great.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Vivian, we also have some judges, and maybe Tiffany can help fill in because I know we had a couple of pivot moves. But Vivian, who do we have with us so far?
We have Mike Grushin. He's founding partner and chief operating officer of Omnigon, experience in building and activating business technology solutions for leading brands in sports, media, and entertainment.
Mike, how are you? I know you've done a beautiful job in starting to build your own personal brands, and you know we've known each other for a couple of years now. I've always been so impressed by how you engage in your process mastery with a massive level of integrity. So how are you, Mike?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Vivian. That was a very nice introduction. I'm doing great. So right before this, I had a chance to, now I'm the 6th week where me and my boys and my wife were exercising every day at 3 p.m. So it's been one of the better things that came out of the coronavirus situation.
Extraordinary. Well, thank you for being here, Mike. And have you seen a Real Raw yet? You have any idea what we're doing here or no?
I've seen a part of it, I think, 2 weeks ago. But I'm looking forward to contributing, looking forward to learning.
Yeah. So if anybody hasn't seen it yet, we had some amazingly fun fireworks yesterday with Garrett Gunderson and Michelle Soro. And yeah, that is one to check out because there was some really, really cool stuff happening and some massive breakthroughs occurring. So thanks guys for being here. Tiffany, how we doing? Or Vivian, how we doing right now?
We're fantastic.
And we have our other judges or not yet?
I don't see anybody. I think we were supposed to have Jeff Alt-Gilbers, but.
Yes. So we have Jeff and Ryan had some challenges. Tiffany, are you out there? I don't know if Tiffany is in as a panelist. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move forward. And Vivian, you're going to move into the slot of judging. And I will give some judging for the first time myself.
Okay.
So we can,
James, close that tight. Sorry, guys.
So here we go. Frank, you've seen this. So I think you get the drill. Correct, sir?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I've been a judge.
Yeah, you've been a judge. I'll explain a little bit. John, have you seen the real raws yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So you understand what's happening?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're doing is in round one, we're building emotional rapport between the participants and Vivian. And Vivian can be whomever you want her to be. And Mike, the feedback and judging is going to be in the space of how much emotional rapport was created, how much pain was accessed, what occurred there. And then from that point, we're also going to, from that point, we're going to have a break at 3 minutes. And in round two, we're going to deliver unique identity, heroic unique identity, and agreement formation into what was opened up in round one. And each round, we're going to have some scoring. And that's what we're going to do. I have one idea for an additional immediate judge. We had 700 people on a call a minute ago. I can't imagine nobody's on yet.
John?
So I apologize. Yes.
We have a Brian McCann that just joined us.
Brian McCann has joined us. Brian, why don't you introduce yourself and give me 10 seconds. Give a nice intro, Brian.
We can't hear you, Brian. Your audio.
I'm not muted.
There you
now?
go.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, you're in, babe.
Sorry. Yes, I'm a partner with Sean. I'm in the family law department. I've been with Sean for about 4 years now, 5 years. Before that, I owned my own firm with Chris Cavalli, who is also a partner there. We both practice in family law exclusively. Former law clerk to a Bergen County family law judge. We're both certified matrimonial attorneys. And since we've been with Sean, we've been growing, expanding, and opening up new horizons.
Fantastic.
Give me 10 seconds, Sean.
Yeah. So welcome, Brian. How are you? All
Good,
right,
man.
so,
Hanging in there.
All right. So, Frank, you're physically in Florida.
Yes.
And John, you're in New Jersey, correct?
New York.
You're in New York right now. So, Frank, you're the away team. So I have either a 1 or a 2 under the desk. So you want to pick the number?
Sure, I'll pick number 2.
2. You have won the toss. So, Mr. Orange,
Okay.
Frank Clark, would you like to go first in round 1 and retain your choice of going first or second in round 2? Or you want to go second in round 2 and then John will have a choice in the second round? So which way you want to play it?
Well, because John got thrown into this thing, I'll go first.
That's nice of you, Frank. Thank you.
All right. So Frank, who is Vivian going to be for you? What is the yes you're seeking? Who you want Vivian to be?
Vivian can be herself. I know a little bit about Vivian. I know she's got a dish in it, you know, is her project. And yeah, so Vivian can be Vivian.
All right. So Vivian, Frank's on the clock. 3 minutes and let's go.
Okay.
Quiet, okay.
Nice. Vivian,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, thank you. Hi.
Your energy is just infectious. You know, I love the intro. Love how you get a crowd going. You're just on fire all the time, seems like.
Thank you.
Did I catch you at a good time right now?
Yeah, I have about 3 minutes.
Awesome. You know, I recently was listening to you talking about your Dishing It. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Is it Dish It or Dishing It?
It's Dishing It. It's an apostrophe IT, no G.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like what's exciting about that? What's the real draw that people would be excited about that? Because I'm thrilled with it.
Okay. Basically, I have conversations with people who have persevered and overcome and are living their best lives now. And when someone outside is watching, they can relate to that person and not feel alone anymore. So we have this conversation over food so that I can celebrate that person's cultural background at the same time so that it really becomes even more magical. So if I were to tell you what my ideal person would be, it would be somebody like Aisha Champs, and she's a woman who's a lawyer today, but she actually lost her home, lost her husband to cancer, her home to a fire, had 5 children, ended up homeless, you know, and all of a sudden she just decided she was going to become a lawyer with the help of the community and the church, and her 5 children helped her in tow. So she's kind of like that person that I imagine in my show.
Wow, that's amazing. And how does that person relate with you? Do you have a background similar to that, or, you know, how did she? What was the attraction to her with you?
I'm sorry, there's a lot of background noise. Somebody's family is screaming or shouting.
Hey, Brian, you can mute your microphone.
Yep.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
I apologize. Where were we?
I was just curious, like, what was the attraction to this woman? You know, that you feel drawn to her. Did you have a personal experience similar to hers?
Well, thank you for asking. It's not intense like that, no. I mean, I've moved 23 times to date, and I've lived through a lot of scarcity and poverty. I've had a crazy mystery of a health crisis that's sort of under control. It's supposed to be a leaky gut, but started somewhere else. You know, my father wasn't around, and I know what it's like to feel like a second-class citizen at home for being of mixed race in my family, Dominican and Spanish. But even within that culture, there's a lot of nuances there. And so I know what it's like to be able to have your eye on the prize and never give up. And by the way, I have to go in about a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, from all that adversity, how did you transform yourself into the vivacious, you know, fun, exuberant person that you are today? Because with, you know, a background like that, with all the health issues and, you know, moving, what did you say, 23 times? That's incredible. How did you all of a sudden become this, what appears, you know, very stable and gregarious woman?
We have about 20 seconds, but I knew I was built for something bigger, and I always had faith, and I knew that there was a higher power, and I'm always positive. I was always positive. So that's always been there.
Well, I'm looking forward to having more conversation with you about that, if that's okay.
Thank you. That's great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So Frank, how'd that feel for you?
Felt good. The 3-minute clock thing, and a little bit of the distraction noise, you know, kind of threw me off a little bit, but you know, I'm not used to being on a 3-minute clock, I guess. You know, so yeah, so it's a little challenging, but it felt good. It felt okay.
Awesome. You have some background. That's not on your end, Frank, right? The noise?
I don't think so, no.
So Tiffany, can we mute? Let's just make sure we have muting.
Yep, I will do that.
Yeah, just mute everybody who's not going. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, Frank, I thought you did a fantastic job. I said the last time, the depth of your knowledge in sales, terrific. The ability to appropriately acknowledge where you're mentioning vivaciousness, all those things. I thought super congruent. Great job. Vivian, what was present for you?
He did good I felt like he was validating me, and he asked some open-ended questions. I didn't feel as emotionally connected, but I think I was getting there. I think it might have been because of the distraction.
Yeah. Where's that coming from?
I don't know. There's a hum.
I think the hum is coming that there's a lawnmower going.
Oh, is that by you, John?
Yeah, it's like a yard over, but it's like a little buzz.
Yeah. So Tiffany, when John's not on, let's just mute John. All right, Tiff?
Yep, got it.
Okay. So very good. So judges, let's lock in our scores. Brian and Mike, right? Let's lock in our scores. And John, are you ready to drop in?
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
Hey, Vivian, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you.
How are you holding up with the coronavirus and everything?
You know, I've been super focused. So I've been working out at 6 o'clock in the morning and just keeping myself really busy and taking a few courses, which makes me very happy.
Wow, that's fantastic. Is your family's good? Everybody's good?
Thank God, yes. Even my mom, who lives in a home like 15 minutes away, she's fine.
God bless. That's great. That's great. And the working out is great. It's a great way to start the day, get your energy flowing, get everything moving. How about business? Has your business been affected?
Well, I'm building a show from the ground up, and that's always a challenge. It really requires human contact and people coming over to my house and me making food and serving them. And
Right.
so yeah, it's been challenging. I did a cook-off, which was virtual, but it's not the same thing. I don't have my videographers here because we have the social distancing thing.
Right. Did you win?
Sorry?
Did you win the cook-off?
Did I win the football?
The cook-off.
The cook-off. Sorry, it was more. I couldn't hear you. Hilarious. Good listening. No, it was just sharing the foods at the same time. We were using a tagine. I don't know if you know what that is, but it looks like a teepee and it's made out of clay, and we make delicious foods inside of that. Okay. So it was just like, she was making me one dish. I was making her another one virtually. So we were just having fun with that concept.
Gotcha. What's your favorite dish to make? Like, what's your favorite food?
I love all kinds of foods. I love Indian food. I like making samosas. I like making mata paneer. I love a good turkey ossobuco. I like pasta. Oh my God, I'm craving it.
You're making me hungry.
I'm gonna have to go in about a minute or so.
Where did you learn to cook? Who taught you to cook?
So my mom, I knew how to cook early, because I'm Dominican and Latin, and you are like a little mini indentured servant when you're Latin. So if you know how to cook, you're doing dishes, you're cooking, you're cleaning. So I knew by the age of 12 how to cook chicken, rice, and beans, and all of that kind of stuff. I was a good little household worker.
That's great. I love to cook myself too. That's one of my stress relievers.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays. So were you always entrepreneurial? How did you get yourself motivated?
I have a dream and I can't let it go. And so I've had to come to the conclusion that I have to know about business, even if I don't.
Right.
So it's led me here. But and also being at the mercy of, being an actress and auditioning all the time for everyone, whether it was when I was presenting for the auto shows for Infinity and GMC, which I spent my last 10 years with, whether it was going on Moral Court, who I was trained by Harvey from, Levin from TMZ as the court reporter for Moral Court. And you're always at somebody else's mercy. And this time I just want to run my own ship this time.
Yeah, I hear you.
I have about 20 seconds and I'm going to have to take this call.
Okay. So when do you think the show will resume? When will you start, getting back to work and seeing yourself out there?
Well, I've already got people lined up. We'll see how it goes. I have to just get creative about how it's done now.
Okay. Well, I'd love to talk to you further about some things that maybe we could do for you in the future.
Sounds great. Thank you, John.
Great.
All right, John Spring, ladies and gentlemen. So John, how did that feel for you?
In the beginning, a little bit awkward, but then, Vivian's so interesting. It just, the questions are just natural,
Awesome. And Vivian, what was present for you?
What was present for me was that everything got better in the conversation when he started to talk about food. But at the beginning, he started talking about business, and it was like a jarring segue from where we were, because it was sort of like, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So I thought that was, but he recovered with the food, so it was okay.
Yeah. So John, real quick, right? Couple access points. So, hey, Vivian, how are you?
Hi. Hey.
So, quick question. Like, how did you get involved in doing all this real raw stuff with like Sean and Blinded? Like, how did you get out?
If I hadn't met Michelle Marie-Sorrow at Date with Destiny and hadn't gone to Tony Robbins, I wouldn't have met the community that I've come across, and I wouldn't have met all the people that went to the Unblinded, to see the amazing launch of Unblinded with Sean Callagy. And I would not be here if he hadn't loved me enough unconditionally to put me in this spot.
Well, listen, I know Sean, and he's a good guy, but he doesn't do anything unless people really are remarkable. And you are remarkable. And I just want to tell you what an incredible job I've been seeing you do. Yeah. So quick question. Where's all going? I know you have the Dishing It show you're launching. If everything goes all your way, like, where does this all go?
We're going to transform lives. We're going to support a lot of charities and people, and we're going to innovate and create more that I can't see at this moment.
Amazing. And why are you doing all this? Tiffany,
I can't hear John. Oh, can you mute?
Yeah, he's muted. Tiffany's got it. So good. So where's this all going for you?
Sorry, I'm out of.
Yeah. Where's this all going for you?
Oh, that's right. You were asking me how I get all this energy or where this drive is. It's always been there. It's bigger than me. So
amazing.
It's going
and like, magic. Is this a like a financial thing, or is it more mission driven, or both?
I like the idea of both, because the one can't live without the other.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, like, and on the like monetary financing side and the growing side of this, how is that all going so far?
We need to innovate.
Okay. And why? That does not sound like it's going particularly well. So what's happening?
Well, it's being self-funded. So it's like I deal with an editor and a videographer, and all of that takes money. So it is buying the food and transportation and for the guests and all of it.
Yeah. And what I'm present to, Vivian, is like when you're talking about the show, you're like so feeling great, feeling amazing. And then I asked about that and your energy totally shifted. Were you present for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I ask this? I know you got to go in like 30 seconds. What do you feel like your relationship with financing, money, like I say those words, and how do you feel?
Lost.
So listen, I know you got to take a call. When we come back, would it be okay if I shared a little bit about myself?
Please.
Okay, Tiffany, let's unmute John. Hey, John.
Yeah, sure.
Was that putting you in a perfect position to talk about who you are?
100%.
Do you like talking to people who are lost about building their wealth and handling their money?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So do you see how that all fits together?
Yeah, that was perfect. That
was
great.
So for everybody watching and listening out there, nothing there. The greatest confusion that people have, and John, in my heart and love for you, I would say this includes you, is thinking that if we benefit from something we're seeking a yes to from somebody, that there's something to feel a little bit weird about. Vivian needs somebody like you. Right. I bet 99% of people need somebody like you, because even if they think they're on top of things, you have a second set of eyeballs, right? A second set of eyeballs, which is exactly what Tony Robbins wrote Money Master the Game about, is all hidden fees and problems and issues people have. And John, how many times do you look at people's stuff and not find something you can help with? Like, what percentage of time do you find something you can help with?
Over 95%. It's very rare that somebody has everything in order, really properly. It's either going to be not allocated correctly, or they're going to be paying fees that they didn't even know about. And unfortunately, a good chunk of the percentage of people don't even keep track of their stuff.
Yeah,
that's the reality.
So let me ask you this. Truly, if I said go cold call 100 people that you can help, or if I said go ask Frank or Mike to look at their stuff financially, how would you feel right now about doing that? How would you feel? Honest answer, first feeling.
Feel great.
Really? Okay. You sure?
What's that?
You sure? Because I'm going to talk to Rob. We're going to have a whole new plan, right? So do you really feel great about it?
Wait, give me the question again. I'm not sure if I understood it.
Yeah. How comfortable do you feel about having a conversation, a 5-minute conversation with people, building rapport, and having a little social proofing of who you are, and then asking them if supporting them and taking a second look at their financial world, or an hour meeting or half an hour at dinner? How comfortable do you feel moving into that conversation?
I feel very comfortable.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to ask you this question then. How many of those conversations are you committed to having in the next 30 days?
How many am I committed to having? As many as possible, but 30 days.
With people you don't know yet. Like going through the accelerator, the Unblinded Business Accelerator, right? Drive what you guys are doing. How many of those conversations will you create in the next 30 days?
200.
Holy cow. That's awesome. That's a big number, right? How's this? You win if you create 50. Is that a deal?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So that was round one, ladies and gentlemen. And we're adding little pivots in process mastery in with our influence mastery stuff. I'm proud of you, John. So let's kick it to Brian McCann. So Brian, maybe 20, 30 seconds of feedback for, let's start with John. And then 20, 30 seconds what went well, 20, 30 seconds on opportunity for growth and a score. And then for Frank, what do you got, Brian?
So I think John did can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I think John did a really good job with his questions. Initially, I think it was a little tough, but when he asked Vivian the questions about food, he really got the questions to root it in her, and it got her excited. They were very open-ended. They were very present questions. And so I thought he did a really good job at going from maybe surface rapport to maybe even getting to a little real rapport. And certainly 3 minutes is tough to do that. It's like speed dating, and you got to get through it, and you're trying to rush, and it's not always that easy to get from surface to emotional. But I think he was getting there and would have gotten there with more time. So that very good job with those questions and the power of questions, short questions, and getting them rooted in what was, got Vivian interested and the energy picked up. On the other side of that, it kind of stayed right there with those kind of questions. He never got to the future. He never got to the pain and, elicit the pain and get to an agreement formation in the way that you did with her in the same time frame, which again, this is 3 minutes and you're trying to rush through it. But yeah, he never got to that next to the third level of that rapport, I think. But overall, with the time he had, I thought he was getting to there with the questions. I thought he did a good job.
All right. And score?
7.
Okay. And how about for Frank?
The same thing with Frank. So I think Frank did a really good job with the questions. I thought the energy was there. The flow was a little, I thought, dragged a little bit, but he asked good questions, good open-ended questions, good short questions. And he was getting more into, I thought, what was driving Vivian and what was, her business and her energy, and they're really good congruence of energy with that. So I think he did a really good job with that. And again, I think on the other side of that, the time constraints on it, didn't allow him to really press and get into that, well, what's challenging you, and get deeper into that really kind of deep level of rapport and that third kind of emotional rapport to get to that, what's your pain, how I can give me another, let's talk again so I can tell you how I can help you. But overall, I think he did a good job, and I would give him a 7 too.
All right. Awesome. Mike.
Sean,
Yes.
Sean, can I just say, we have Christopher Cavalli here as well. That's joined us and has seen this last emotional rapport, I believe.
Okay. Hey, if Chris hasn't seen both, well, let's make Chris go live, and he can help judge the second round as well. So welcome, Chris, and we'll introduce you in a second, but let's go with Mike first, and then we'll introduce Chris. So Mike.
Good job, guys. I'll start with Frank just because he went first. The opening was very convincing and very thoughtful, and to me it connected. Right? I also was trying to judge it from the perspective that you guys don't know each other until this conversation, right? Like this is the first time you speak, right? So you reacted to a very immediate introduction that Vivian did a couple of minutes ago. So that was, to me, connected quite a bit. And then the conversation was easy going, but maybe I missed it, but I did not hear an ask. Like there was a nice conversation, but okay, you just said hello, but I don't think that maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear, can I connect with you to tell you more about what I do? So to me, that's a 6, just because I didn't hear that. With John, the business conversation in the beginning was a bit awkward, but then it recovered, and there was an ask. Right, so the conversation went better. They then got a bit more excited about the topic, so that was good. And then, what I would improve there is what is the promise of that task? The things that I do, to see how we do is like I solve problems like this every single day, right? Like Sean's example, that would have made it easier when she sees a text from you, a message to say, oh yeah, it was a nice conversation, but I don't really know why I would want to talk to this person. So I'll give you a 7 for the ask.
Amazing. How about Vivian? How about you? How would you analyze and score Frank and John?
I feel about pretty much everything that the gentleman said, and I gave both an equal 7.5.
Very good. Okay, awesome. So Chris Cavalli, welcome.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
All right, so Chris Cavalli is partners with Brian McCann. So thank you for being here, Chris. Also certified matrimonial attorney And I would say that what Chris and Brian are unbelievably phenomenal at is working with everybody from, so call it the traditional divorce process in a relatively affluent area of Bergen County, as well as to working with the quite affluent and, former spouses of professional sports stars, et cetera. And they are integrity filled and massively efficient and just do a very incredibly great practical job. And Chris Cavalli is like part of the fun police at Callagy Law. And his greatest claim to fame, besides being an amazing father, wonderful husband, and a great skier who jumps off of mountains and cliffs, is that he tore his ACL getting off a chairlift. So welcome, Chris Cavalli.
Hey, we always have to bring that up, Sean, don't we?
We do, because you're such an amazing skier. It's just like,
and it wasn't my fault.
I love
it was the
irony.
person sitting next to me.
Irony is fun. I love irony, Chris. So welcome. So Frank, in round 2, would you like to go first or second?
I think I'll go second this time. John seems to be, I think he's ready now.
Yeah. So amazing. Can I ask this, Frank? How did you become Mr. Orange? So Frank is Mr. Orange, A Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins, where he represents a certain personality typing. And he always wows the crowd, gets everything going like crazy. Tony has an incredible relationship with Frank and tons of fun. But what was the genesis of all that, Frank?
The genesis of it was, it actually, emerged from the seminar, Sean. When Tony started talking about the spiral dynamics and the different levels of consciousness, and then he asked participants in the audience who resonated with different levels. And an orange level is level 5, and that's the first level, actually, in the spiral dynamics of consciousness, that people become more outward focused. Where it's more about contribution, more about helping other people get what they want. And, a level 5 orange is also very driven and passionate about business and, a little bit significant and status driven, bend the rules, we're just go-getters, overachievers. And so when Tony said, who can embody this? Well, that's how I live. So I'm like, I had no problem doing that. And, I became a little mini celebrity in the room because there's a lot of overachievers in a Tony Robbins event. And so a lot of people came up to me afterwards and were throwing business cards at me and wanted to collaborate on a whole bunch of stuff. And I've always wanted to be more coaching driven than electronics and stodgy equipment business. So I took the opportunity. I saw the moment to pivot in my own career and my own life and to give back more. People seem to resonate with what I'm doing. So I said, let's create the Mr. Orange movement here. And then
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I was there for the birth of Mr. Orange, future empire. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Me too.
Frank, what year was the first Mr. Orange?
2017.
Okay.
It was interesting, Sean, because as soon as I finished it, I came home and my wife of 20 years asked me for a divorce. So I was shocked by that. And so my whole world was rocked after I.
Oh, you mean legitimate? I thought
legitimate. Oh yeah, legitimate. And so I went back in 2018 because I had a whole new set of values and beliefs and needed a whole new life restructure, and was picked again by Tony in 2018. So
I was there.
It was fun.
I was there.
Yes, you
that was my first date with Destiny, and I saw that. And then you did it again in 2019, correct or no?
No, I actually coached a team in 2019, the Orange team. Believe it or not, talk about synchro destiny.
Who was Mr. Orange? Who was Mr. Orange in 2019? I thought.
I don't remember the guy's name.
Got it.
Believe me, I was way in the back of the room. I was hoping he would pick me again, but you never know. Maybe we'll get a shot at it again.
You were amazing.
It was fun.
You were.
Thank you.
2018. I'm sure you were in 2017, but when I saw you in 2018, you were absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. Looking forward to doing more. This is really, really cool. Right.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. So you ready to drop in? Oh no, John is ready.
John's done.
Yeah.
It's round 2, and now it's you're going to the yes. So you're delivering your unique identity. Now we haven't. This is the challenging part, brother. You're going for whatever yes. It doesn't have to be yes that Vivian becomes your client. It doesn't have to be yes that she gives you her financial stuff. But there's a yes you're seeking. So these 3 minutes, it's accessing relevant pain, your unique identity, and agreement formation to whatever yes you're seeking. Ready?
Okay.
Fire away.
Hey, Vivian, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Hi.
Good, good. Last time we talked, you had mentioned that, when it comes to, your money and finances, it brings you down a little bit. It's just not your forte. I just wanted you to know that most people, not most people, but a lot of people I work with are like that. You're not alone. especially entrepreneurs and people that are busy and people that are doing, you know, a lot of different jobs and stay busy, they don't have the time, the free time to just sit down and look over their finances and to, you know, make sense of it. And it's not something that they enjoy doing, so they're not focusing on it. So I just want you to know that, you know, sometimes you put pressure, people put pressure on themselves and they feel bad about it because they may not be minding the store, so to speak, in that respect. And they feel a little bit of guilt associated with it. I would say that most people aren't doing it, aren't staying on top of that stuff. I come across, and that's where, you know, if you don't mind, if I could tell you a little bit about what I do and the way we do it, I could just, would that be okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. So one of the things we do, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and people that, you know, run their own businesses. So again, they don't have the time to take, you know, to stay on top of all their statements and things that come in the mail. We call it the financial junk drawer. You know, a statement comes in from a brokerage, they just put it in a drawer, this and that. So what I like to do is I sit down with a client and we collect the information, and we'll take the information and we'll put it, you know, into some sense, and I'll review it for you. And we look through to see, you know, how you're allocated, how things, if things are being done properly, if, you know, you're paying too much for certain services. And then from there, we can make recommendations. Would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
I'm a little confused. How is that going to help me?
Well, for your future. I mean, you said, when we last spoke, you said that, you know, you live for a dream. You have a dream that you're living for. So I feel, you know, we want to achieve those dreams. To achieve most of those dreams, we need, you know, money and finances, and we need to be able to finance, say, for example, what you're doing right now to pay your producers and your cameramen and your film crew and things like that all require, you know, cash buildup and to have reserves when things like this happen. So I'd like to get you set up so that you're prepared, not just for now, but for your financial future.
Okay. Well, I have a call in about 20 seconds. How can I reach you?
Okay. Well, you can reach me on my phone number, which I gave you earlier. I really messed that.
Okay, John, let me help. So,
no, I feel
John,
bad.
No. Listen,
I'm lost.
It's all good. So let me help. So Vivian, thanks for you know, bouncing back from that phone call. When last we left off, you said that you were lost financially, and that's how you feel, or I'm sorry, how you feel when you hear words like money, finance. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So can I share a little bit what I do?
Please.
Yeah. I help people become not lost, but more importantly, I help people change their relationship emotionally with money. Does that sound at all like resonant or no?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd love to do very simply, I share just for a minute a little bit of my background. Would that be okay?
Please. Yes.
Yeah. So I've been working with people in the financial world for over 25 years. And what I see so often, it depends on where you are financially, and I'm not even sure where you are, and it really doesn't matter. We work with people from all different backgrounds and places in life. And what we first do is we really sit down and try to literally change like the vibrational energy and relationship and connection that people have with their money. For most people, and I'm not sure, this is kind of what I'm hearing, does it feel like for you at some level that connecting to, reviewing, what we call confronting your money, dealing with your money, is something that doesn't feel very good for you?
This is true.
Yeah, I could hear that. So that, and you also talked about wanting to have financial abundance. So first we look to create that shift. And I know you only have about a minute left, but second, we look to create a process to evaluate, like, just what are you doing, right? So your relationship emotionally, but then actually, like, what's the tangibles? What's actually happening? And we so often find there's two giant problems, Vivian. One is people don't have a process. That's one big problem, right? And second, even if they have a process, it's suboptimal for a variety of different ways. But one especially is if they're actually doing something, they're making big mistakes on how they relate to their fee structure, like what they're paying for the services that they're getting. So we look at all of that, right? And the third thing we do is we help people create creative strategies and approaches to do some of the things that you're trying to do and create financing for the businesses they're creating and getting to lift off. So I know we're out of time, but I guess my question is, how does that sound to you about at least having a more lengthy conversation where we look into some of the things that you're up to and see if we can help with how you relate to money, what your process actually is, and potentially finding ways to help you raise some money?
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Okay. So how did you feel? Honestly, Vivian, how did you feel about that?
I loved it because you were placing all of the things that I was thinking about as if you already knew what my pain points were. So it kept the conversation fluid and flowing. And there were things you brought to my awareness that I wasn't thinking about, which sank deeper into my gut. And so I felt completely magnetized to everything that you were saying. I was hanging on to whatever was next that you were going to teach me as you were, and guiding me as you were going.
Okay. So here's why we do the Real Raw role play. Here's the drop the mic for this episode. We do it because that's exactly what John Spring does. It's exactly what he does. But and I don't do that, right? So I don't do that, right? So, but the problem is that if our influence mastery isn't at a certain level, then people who are just good in influence, like me, if they were using their powers for evil and darkness, could easily get Vivian's business all day long and have no ability to deliver on it. John has every ability to deliver on it. But Vivian, if you're going to pick me or John, before I just went through this little monologue and we just both met with you, who would you pick?
You.
Even close?
No.
Right? That's the game. Is for all of us, the Real Raw role play is about unlocking that reality. John is a person of immense integrity in a field with a lot of people who are not in integrity. And so I look at it this way. It's John Spring's moral responsibility to continue to increase his level of mastery because people should be working with him. But people aren't going to know that unless they connect and go from hello to yes with integrity. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
All right. Love you, brother. Right.
I love you too. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. Frank, you ready to drop in on round 2, sir?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Frank, take it away.
All right. Hey, Vivian, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for letting me connect back up with you again. You know, the last time we talked, it was a great conversation. And one of the things I remember was, you know, you were talking about this other woman who you really related with. And it was kind of like you were excited about partnering with her for your business. Is that a fair statement still?
Well, that would be a person I would have a conversation with, but there are people that I know that I'm working with to partner with separately that are female.
Awesome. Awesome. Can I ask you it's just a question about partnering. What's most important to you about having a partner? Because I know you're married, you have a great relationship with your husband, you have a lot of great relationships with your friends. What's most important with you about a partnership?
Like with me and my husband?
In any partnership.
Oh, I need loyalty. I need respect and integrity. I need someone who's super intelligent. My husband, I've been with him for 20 years. He makes me laugh. He's amazing. He's super kind. He makes me want to become a better person. So he's an educator. I mean, he's in finance, but I mean, he's so diplomatic. So he's made this little Pygmalion become a little bit more graceful through time. And you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Orange.
I do know what you're talking about. That's fantastic. I mean, so you value a lot of things in a partnership, as do I. In my business, if you mind if I just give you a quick background on me just real quick. Yeah, as far as what I do, you know, I help businesses grow. I help from a coaching standpoint, and I take everything on as a partnership. I never look at things as a client, you know, or a company, a vendor and a client relationship. To me, everything is a partnership. Everything is about what's most important to you, right? And so throughout my career, I've been, you know, involved over the last 25 years with coaching individuals, coaching employees, coaching my clients, my customers, even my vendors.
I just want you to know that I'm on a call in about a minute. Just sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. I've created great partnerships just because I've tapped into the things that just you mentioned. You know, I have a lot of intelligence about coaching and a lot of intelligence about business. Obviously, you know me, I have a great sense of humor. I keep things light. And, you know, I love to tap into that great energy that you have as a partner. And, you know, if I was to ask you, you know, maybe sometime next week, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, would you have some time, maybe again, because I know we're rushed today, but maybe taking some time that we could evolve this conversation to more of a partnership level so that I could show you, you know, fully how your company and you could benefit from this level of partnership. Would that be all right to you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. That would be exciting for me too. I really appreciate all the time you've given me. Believe me, I'm really, really excited about getting with you again next week and seeing how we can evolve this partnership and make it something really grandiose for your business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Orange, Frank Clark, excellent. Frank, how did that feel?
Felt good. It always still feels rushed, you know, because my brain doesn't want to, it wants to tune out the whole, you got 3 minutes here, right? But it's still right there in my face. So, but other than that, yeah, it felt good. It felt good. Yeah, it felt good. I felt like I had some good rapport with her, and I thought I was able to draw out of her what was important to her in a partnership by using her husband as a reference point, and then seeing, you know, how I could have some matching and mirroring around that, and show her how my business could offer the same similarities as the relationship she had with the person who she's the closest with.
Yeah. Frank, I think you did a great job. So excellent work, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chris Cavalli, let us begin with you, my friend. So how about we start with John Spring, Chris, and give it a little bit of, 20, 30 seconds on what went well, 20, 30 seconds growth opportunity, and a score. What do you got, Chris?
Sure. Sure. I was slightly at a disadvantage because Tiffany called me a little late to come on. So I didn't hear the first round, but from listening to these, I know what we're trying to accomplish in a second. So what I really liked about John's presentation was that he made Vivian feel right away that she's not alone in her feelings towards money, and that he has a lot of other clients and sees that a lot. So I think that made her feel pretty comfortable. What I didn't love about John's presentation was it was kind of like vanilla. It wasn't all that. There was nothing really popped. He said what he would do. He'd look at documents. It kind of seemed routine. And maybe he should have put like a story in and said, hey, I helped someone like you who was a mess and did this in order to convey his unique identity a little bit better. But what I love about John, and I love about John before this, obviously, is that he comes across 100% genuine and integrity filled, and he is not salesy at all. So that's my analysis.
What do you have for a score for John?
Excuse me?
What do you have for a score for John?
I'm going to go with a 7.2.
I like the 7.2. So listen, so John, I agree with all that, and you have such great integrity, and you're hiding. So it can be both, and you're hiding because Vivian needs your help, and she's not going to see she needs your help unless you're there truly engaged and you're out of your own head. So I think there's John, and let's just 100% be transparent. Is there a little concern on your part that you don't want to come across as salesy or pushy with people? Is that present for you at some level?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't like to come across pushy. I definitely, I don't like that. I got lost in my own head on that, on that round. But I don't like to be pushy. The salesy, I don't think about it.
Okay, so pushy. So here's the question for you to resolve. How, through integrity-based human influence, 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, 4 energies, can you be integrity-based in unblinding people to how you can help them and not be pushy, but increase your level of influence and not be pushy? That's the question. Make sense?
Yeah, sure.
All right, awesome. Is that does it resonate for real or no?
It absolutely resonates. And, just thinking about a quick answer, I know that I'm helping these people. When I sit down, I'm helping people. Yeah. So I shouldn't be afraid of, if I have to be quote unquote pushy, you're pushing to help somebody.
But watch, did I push Vivian at all?
No.
So you can be
correct,
incredibly persuasive.
Yes.
in integrity and not be pushy. I would rewatch, no joke, John, I would rewatch exactly what I did both rounds with Vivian and model it. Truly.
I was just going to say to you that's what was going through my head when you were doing it. And I was also saying, this guy's not even in this business. And I want to go back and watch this numerous times and, you know, develop the structure that you did.
Just model it. Yep. Watch it. No joke.
100%.
Watch it, do it. 100%. Watch it, do it. 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 You get to 20 times of watching it, doing it for real with people. Massive evolution and acceleration because you're dropping.
No doubt.
The work no doubt. Drop the mic, right?
Awesome. Thank you.
So, Chris, what do you got for Mr. Orange, Frank Clark?
Okay. Again, since I didn't know what his position was, I kind of caught on as he was going on. But what I really liked about Mr. Orange was how he asked Vivian what qualities in a partner that she likes, you know, needs, requires, and how he kind of equated that to his own business and his partners. I also liked the way he complimented her energy and kind of took what he was given in the almost impossible 3 minutes to do this. But also kind of like John, I thought maybe he could have conveyed his unique identity a little bit better and maybe told her a story about someone he's helping with similar needs. So, you know, overall good. And I think just both Frank and John, and this is probably from being told by you that I always can't do this, conveying your unique identity, especially in 3 minutes, maybe with a story, is really hard, but something that seems kind of important.
Yeah. So what do you have for a score, Chris?
7.1.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. And Mike, what do you have?
I do want to recognize you, gentlemen. Like, this is 3 minutes, right? So it's very tough. So kudos. It's very impressive that you were able to pull together. So I'll start with Frank. We went through, like, you felt it yourself that it was not as smooth or connecting. The things that where I think you can think about and model Sean is in Sean's version. He asked a number of questions.
Mike, are you doing John or
John.
Frank?
John.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So in Sean's version, and like this is also what I've read in other places, asking the person a number of questions where it's easy for them to say yes, right? So they're just yes, right? And I think Chris mentioned this. Sharing an anecdote, sharing a story about yourself, right? And that may be something vulnerable, right? I hate sales or I'm not good at it, right? But let me tell you about, I've done this for 25, whatever, X years, right? And based on our previous conversation, there is an entrepreneur that I'm helping with, and it might not completely resonate with you, but they did not know how to raise money. I helped them with creating financing. They did not look at their credit card bills for the last 6 months. I itemized everything and I told them all of the recurring charges that they've been paying for the last 6 months. Right? So to me, that would have been resonated versus a pretty generic financial planner pitch that I heard.
Right. Thank you.
So my score to you would be 6.5 based on that. The fact that Vivian was kind enough to say yes, that she'll sit down with you, I think it could have been a stronger yes.
And thank you, Mike. And for Mr. Orange, Frank Clark.
So for Mr. Orange, I think he did very well. I did not see a lot of negative things where the things that I really connected to me is partnership, focus on partnership. I think it's always strong. The fact that you brought in the example of the husband and you had that personal connection between business and personal, that was strong. Asking for connecting next week, that was very good, right? And Vivian said yes. The things that I was considering, I'm learning obviously about your background. If you're talking to an entrepreneur who is starting the business, right, and you seem to know this information about Vivian, just giving a perspective. I've done this for 20 years. I know how to run businesses. I am now in the space where I am contributing and giving back. And that's what I'm interested in. And I'm interested to help talented people like you succeed in life, right? And I don't need the money, right? Or I don't know if that's the message, but, and And the next session, just for clarity, I'm not asking for any money. Let's talk, right? And if there is a match, because I also want to get something out of it, then we'll figure out how to proceed.
Great.
So
That's
7.5
awesome.
for you.
Thank you.
So what's your score?
7.5.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you, Mike. Brian McCann.
Sure, I'll start with John. I thought John did a good job of initiating the conversation and getting into what he does and starting that. I think, you know, again, John, don't feel bad. I've seen Sean do this, and he can present himself as a better divorce lawyer than I am, even though he's never practiced divorce law. But don't feel bad. Believe me, he does this to everyone, and that's why he is what he is and how good he is. So don't feel bad.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I thought, you know, again, it felt like a very kind of same conversation you would have had with anybody sitting in front of you. Like there wasn't that personal kind of deep emotional rapport with Vivian. And I know you were rushed, and sometimes that doesn't allow you to kind of do a full, you know, level 5 transitional listening with what they're saying. And, you know, when you saw Sean do it, he really kind of emphasized the pain points throughout of it. You know, bringing that empathy. You must feel like this. You must feel like this, and having to acknowledge that. And bringing that. And again, I think if you start, a story would have been great. Like, why are you a financial planner? Like, why'd you get into this? Why do you really feel like helping people? To really bridge that emotional rapport with her, you know, would be a great access point, and making her understand that, man, I want this guy to help me because he really gets it. And, you know, I thought you did a good job. I mean, it's not easy to be on that stage, and believe me, I know what it feels like, brother. But so I give you a 7. I gave you a 7.
Thank you. That's generous. Thank you.
And Frank, you know, I thought, Frank, you had a great energy right out of the gate. You're really good. You know, you obviously have a relationship with Vivian, or you know her at least. It was good energy with her. She responded with good energy, and it was a great connection with the partnership. Like you bringing that to her, making her, you know, tell what's a good partnership, and then bringing that into what you do. So she immediately establishes and things like, you know, this guy has the same kind of values that I do about partnerships, and he's going to bring that to my business and what I want. I thought that was great. Again, I think a story would have begun about why that's important to you and why you think that would be great for her to get to that. Yes, I want to work with this man. I definitely want to do that. And overall, I thought it was good though. I gave you a 7.5.
Right.
Thank you.
Hey, so great job, judges. Hey, Frank. So could I share one quick thought?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So listen, I think you're awesome. I've seen you as Mr. Orange. And I think that you had beautiful energy with Vivian. I think you have even more energy there. I've seen it. And I would just look to have a little bit more energetic variance. That would be, to me, and because it's only 6 minutes, right? So that's hard, and I'm sure you have many great stories. So yes, add a story, but I'll discount that to time frame. The energetic variance of like slowing down, speeding up, you were so compelling as Mr. Orange. I was like, dude, this guy's amazing, right? And I didn't know you had ever done it before, but it was like so, and it really didn't matter. I only did it once before, one time. It was like you like owned the room, and people like you were the dominant force there. It had a lot to do with your pacing, your speed, your emotional energetic variance. And I would just bring this into your conversation. Slow down, speed up, pausing, you know, pitch volume up and down. I think just a little bit more of that creates even more emotional and energetic transference, which clearly you know how to do and you're a rock star at. So that would be my access to more. I mean, everything else, dude, your story is great. You have such clarity on how to structure Hello DS. You know, beautiful job.
Thanks very much, Sean. I appreciate that. I do recognize that in myself. When I get nervous, you know, feeling rushed or anything, I tend to be one speed, and that's just like fast, you know, and there's no variance in my tone. There's no variance in my speed. It's just, okay, let's get the message done and let's get on, move. So yeah, I appreciate that. Just slow down.
It's pausing because that creates the elevation of the emotion. And it's super funny because I know the time was confined. And I saw you know, I experienced you, I can't say it, but I experienced you doing that in front of 5,000 people where you sped up, slowed down, like you dropped the mic. So I just want to reinforce that in your nervous system. I know you know it, but I want to reinforce it of how unbelievably amazing you are because I've seen you be it. I was like, I love that guy. Everybody loves you. Like it's phenomenal. So, you know, great job. I really appreciate you being here. Hey, so yeah, as we bring it to a wrap, just thoughts, Frank. If somebody's like, hey, should I be a participant on the Real Raw role play? I don't know, I'm nervous, like whatever, what would you say to them?
I would say it's a must. You have to do it because, you know, the things that you get the most benefit of are the things that you're put on the spot for. The things that scare the shit out of you, literally, are the things that give you the greatest value, right? They're the greatest lessons. And this is not necessarily a real easy spot to be in, even as a judge. You know, I've done both sides of this now. And, you know, you're on the spot and you're with, amazing people. So just from that standpoint, I mean, the coaching you get from you, the ability to be around like-minded entrepreneurs and great business minds that you bring on to this show, it's a must. I mean, absolutely. Everybody that's even wanted to do a business or is very established in business can learn something from this experience. And so I would recommend it to anybody. Absolutely.
Well, Frank, thank you. And I look forward to talking more in the future, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
How about John? If somebody said to you, hey, like I was going to be a judge, now a participant. No, like what would you say to people who said, hey, should I go on the Real Role play?
Same thing. I would say you have to, because, you know, when I was put on the spot, I was a little nervous. You get scared, right? Because you just weren't prepared. And, you know, it's, to me, what you did, the way you showed me the access points and the way you were me, right, is going to be invaluable for me. I think I will replay it. I'll rewatch it. But it also, me watching me later is going to be valuable, just as valuable too. Seeing how I have to level up, what I have to do. You know, listen, the 3 minutes and everything else definitely come into play, but there's other levels that need to be reached. So it's a revelation, and you don't grow unless, you know, there's a little bit of pain, right? You got to be on the spot a little bit. And I think it's great. It really, and I wouldn't have said this yesterday. Yesterday I might have been like, you know, I don't know if I'll try it. Maybe I'll do the real raw. Now I would say to everybody out there, it's essential. You should really do it. You stretch yourself, and I don't care who they are. Sean's going to find, you're going to find something because you're so good at it. And I'm not just trying to, you know, pump your tires. You're so good at it that you'll find things that somebody could be excellent, and you're going to give them, they're still going to come away with something positive out of it. No doubt.
Thank you. And I think, John, what you shared is we don't have the blessing and privilege of getting feedback. You know, when we're playing a sport, we're playing a musical instrument, you know, we're getting coached, and we're getting feedback in our like even our finances. You can get feedback. We don't get feedback on our influence. We just don't. You know, we make up reasons why meetings don't work out. We make up reasons why people didn't call back. We put them on the external, and we're not present to where we are on the scale of mastery. Like everybody on the planet ranks somewhere. If there's 8 billion people on earth, there is a, you know, if we could have a computer do it or God came down, we would have a ranking of the most influential person and the 8 billionth. There was somebody's the 3,798,482nd most influential person on earth. And they're all different. And what we do with that, like power, is one question, but just where we rank matters. And we don't get any feedback and never see our ranking. We grade score, we weigh ourselves, lose weight, we get test grades, SAT scores. We're not ranked here. And so this is bringing awareness for people who are watching, but also for the people who are brave enough and courageous enough, like yourselves, to participate. You're getting incredible access and feedback with what's up. So thank you for doing that, John.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Mike, what do you think? Somebody's like, hey, should I be a real raw judge? And like, how was your experience? What would you say, Mike?
So I'll start a little bit with the background. So I'm a technical person, and I haven't really been in sales or marketing until relatively recently. My wife, very similar, not technical, but we came to your event in January, and we came away with a very different perspective on what it takes to sell. From that integrity perspective, that we're not selling, we are delivering value, and it just happens that there's a bit of monetary exchange that happens. So we just walked away from that event in a very different perspective. So this environment, and I appreciate and thank you for including me on this, you know, both being the judge as well as I anticipate at one point future participant, I highly recommend it to everyone.
No, thanks, Mike. And I would love to have you there. And so you'd be more than welcome to be. And by the way, we're having influence offs coming down. So Mr. Orange, you know, if you'd like to be into the influence off rounds, and you'd be rocking out with some like epic rock stars. So you're more than welcome to participate. and that craziness is coming, launching in a week or two. So you're more than
Fantastic.
welcome. We'll keep you posted.
Anything to help you, Sean. Yeah.
Well, thank you. As long as it serves you too. Thank you. And I know you're that generous, but I only want it if it will be beneficial to you and what you're up to. So thank you.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, thank you. So Chris Cavalli, someone's like, hey, should I be, judge on the Real Raw? What do you say?
Yeah, A, it was kind of fun. And B, if anything, it makes you reflect a little bit on how you would do the same, how you would, come across, what you would say, what you wouldn't say, the whole 3-minute crunch. I think I, like John, am really good at what I do, but perhaps don't convey my unique identity as well as I should. So being a judge is only going to help me do it better in real life.
And I'll tell you this, Chris and Brian handled my divorce, and they're unbelievable. And so I agree with that, Chris. Unbelievable, the job that you guys do. And you're respected, connected in Bergen County, super affluent area, and certified in New Jersey is a micro percentage of people. So I agree, and thanks for being here and getting better. So great job, Chris. Brian, what's up, brother?
Nothing. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for letting me be a judge and asking me to be a judge. I think being the judge is the easy part for sure. And I feel the pain for the contestants, absolutely. But being a judge it's a lot of fun, like Chris said, and I think it absolutely helps you look at the micro distinctions, especially when you evaluate the contestants and look at it this way. And it absolutely helps you with the language of influence. It absolutely helps you see the distinctions and the access points, or you should have done this, and I need to remember when I'm doing it to remember that access point. So it's just a great learning experience on both sides of it, and being a judge is a lot of fun.
Oh, great job, brother. And Vivian, I want to thank you and acknowledge you for an incredible week as MC, role player, announcer, personality, just phenomenal, Vivian. And so how was this week for you?
Explosively amazing.
Oh.
Always mind blown, always floored by your generosity and your guidance. So I'm blessed. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And it is Fun Friday, and it's a wrap for the Real Raws for the week. And Frank, Clark, John Spring, Mike, Chris, Brian, Vivian, and on behalf of the entire Unblinded community, I'm Sean Callagy. Thank you guys for doing such a fantastic job and for being a part of the Real Raw Roleplay. We will see you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.